The long walk is out, and it's certainly a perilous journey. Set in a dystopian USA, The Long Walk takes 50 boys, each from one state of the US, and makes them endure the long walk, where the last person walking gets to live. And this whole situation exists to inspire the country that's still left. It's televised, because why wouldn't it be? Now, this film is directed by Francis Lawrence, who is the same director of the Hunger Games films, so if you're getting sort of a similar sort of plot there immediately, it's like, yeah, it makes sense that he's the guy that's doing it, although it is based on a Stephen King book, another Stephen King adaptation. They're going to keep making them. And I'm happy with this one. I'm happy it's a story that I was unaware of, and it's a good story. Now, personally, I haven't read the book, but I can say after watching the film that from what I've heard about the book and vaguely seen, the film is a lot more stripped back and a lot more simply focusing on the walk itself and the trials and tribulations the young boys have to go through. The book seems like it has a little more backstory, a little bit more direct symbolism. Meanwhile, the film, it sticks you in it, it points a gun to your head, and then it fires. So as far as whether it's a good adaptation of the Stephen King book, I can't really say. I think it more seems to have used the book as inspiration to take the basic core of the story and make it something else. But one thing that has remained the same with the story is its bleakness. This is a hopeless future. This is a future where everyone's suffering apart from the elite of the elite. And this is the situation we're in, where this is the norm. There is a scene in the film where the characters discuss this. They say, all young boys enter a raffle to participate in this. But it's non-compulsory. But all young boys enter a raffle, so in a way it is. Because you want to be the one. And you feel like you have to be the one. You have to take part. Otherwise you're not serving your country. Or your state. You know, it's a weird sort of situation where I like that's brought up in this film. A lot of this film is talking, I feel like, but it's all very like philosophical and interesting, and I found myself never being bored, which I feel like could be hard for a film where most of it is just the walking. There are like a couple flashback scenes and a couple scenes of like different stuffs going on. You see the tableaus of people on the sideline, like there's this cop saluting them as they go past, and all the people just sort of like sit by and watch like it's so normal or noble. And it's still entertaining. It doesn't lose your interest. It didn't lose my interest, which I think is quite a feat in itself. Now, as I say, compared to the book, this film feels a lot more simple and a lot more restrained and a lot more focused purely on the event at hand, which is the walk. And I think that's absolutely fine. From like short snippets that I've seen online of the book, it seems like there's more. I mean, you know Stephen King, he likes to write a lot and he likes to write very vividly. And I feel like this film it's pretty non-vivid. You know, it's just a lot of talking, it's a lot of thinking, it's a lot of processing. It's a very provocative film. It wants you to think about what's happening and compare it to today and the future that we might be heading in. And even though I don't live in the US, I can see it, and I see the news, and I see what's going on. And it makes you think, and it's just another one of those stories that, and this from Stephen King, I believe, was written back in like his very, very early career. It's one of those stories where it's like, it's still relevant. It's like, it's scary how something back then is like, it's like George Orwell. If he was here right now alive, he'd be like, well, what did I tell you? But I do love how bleak it is and how hopeless it feels because, and I've seen people online talk about this, this feels like the first mainstream movie. Like, I think this is produced by Universal. I could be wrong on that, but it's a very mainstream movie. It's not A24 or anything. It's the first mainstream movie in a while that really feels like a gut punch, you know? It's not like going to give you a happy ending at the end, and it doesn't. That's spoilers there. It doesn't, but I'll get to that, actually. I'll get to the ending. But this film, it really just like throws you in the deep end, and it's like, it's a fairly high budget film. There are recognizable actors in this film. You got Judy Greer, you got Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill is great. Judy Greer really surprised me. I keep thinking she's not a great actress. I don't know why I keep thinking that. She's incredible, and I get reminded almost every time when I see her in something. But yeah, there's recognizable actors, and this is a fairly big film. It was advertised a lot. It's a Stephen King film, and it just does not give a damn about how you feel. It's not going to give you a happy ending. It's not going to give you a happy moment, beginning, middle, or end. It's going to attack you, and it's going to leave you sitting there in the aftermath of the nuclear bomb that's been dropped, and leave you to deal with it. And I respect that. Because a lot of mainstream movies, I feel like PG-13 rating, so they like appeal to kids. This is not trying to appeal to kids. This is not trying to appeal to really anyone. I kind of feel like, but in a good way, you know? It's like, it's not trying to be like a hardcore horror film. It's not trying to like, oh, look at all this gore and stuff. It does it a little bit, but it doesn't do it to the extent where it's just trying to gross you out. It's the concept. It's the fact that you want to keep watching that is almost an indictment on you. And like, that's something it's pointing the finger at. It's just like, you're watching this. Should you be? And I feel like that's all wrapped into what it's trying to say, which is very clever, and I'm rambling. I liked the film. Something a lot of people didn't like, however, is the ending of the film. I saw someone say online, tongue twister. I saw someone say online before I went and saw the film that, oh no. I saw someone say online before I went and saw the film that the third act was a letdown. And going into the film, that didn't change my feelings towards going into it at all. It just made me think, I'm curious now to see what they mean. And I see what they mean. I do, however, I don't think it was a letdown. I think it was done completely on purpose, and it's not a happy ending, nor should it be. Because of all the horrors that you witness throughout this film, remember, these are children. They're like 15, 16, they're like 18-year-olds, they're still kids. You're in your teens, you're a child. Or you've just come of age, who cares? It's still horrendous. And you see, like the youngest kid, this is kind of spoilers now, so I apologize for this. The youngest kid gets killed first. And that immediately sets the tone of they do not give a fuck. And that continues for the rest of the film. And the ending is a letdown, and the ending is not happy. Nor should it be, I feel like. If this film ended in even a semi-happy ending, I would feel like that would be wrong. That would be disingenuous. That would be not the way it's supposed to be, because the film's trying to say it's just like, nothing good can come out of this. And the very ending in itself literally states, hate breeds hate. Nothing good comes of stuff like this. And I really like that. I understand if a lot of people don't. Because again, this is like a mainstream movie, and I feel like we come to expect happier endings, or like the last Conjuring film. But we knew that was going to end semi-happily because it's the Warrens and they have to live a life that's good. You know, I like that it was really like, no, you don't get a happy ending because you don't deserve it, because all of this is terrible and you need to leave. Now, the lead actors in this film, who played the characters Peter and Garrity, were David Johnson and Cooper Hoffman. David Johnson you might recognize from Alien Romulus, where I love seeing him pop up. He's incredible in both these films. And Cooper Hoffman is the son of the late Philip Seymour Hoffman, which I only found out about Philip Seymour Hoffman after he died. He was one of those for me. And seeing Cooper Hoffman in this, it's like, I'm really excited to see where his career goes. But specifically David Johnson and Cooper Hoffman, you have to have good acting in this film. This is such a film that is so dialogue heavy and minimalist visually, I feel like most of the time. You have to have good actors. And Cooper Hoffman is great. David Johnson, I feel like, he kicks it out of the park. I mean, all of them are great. The chemistry between all the kids, or like the 18-year-olds, is incredible. The acting's really good. I genuinely think David Johnson is like, he's going to become a big star, dude. He's going to be like I hope he becomes like a Daniel Kaluuya, because I see similarities, because they're both British, I think. I think so. But yeah, I want David Johnson in like a ton of films. Whenever I see him, I'm like, he has such an interesting quality to him, because in this film he was very grounded and very human. And in Alien Romulus he was the opposite of that. So I'm like, okay, so you can do both. So now I'm really curious to see what you can do. So yeah, I really hope David Johnson does more films like this. Films like Romulus and this, so I can personally see him pop up in more stuff, because these are the sort of films that I go to theaters to watch. So yeah, particularly him, but Cooper Hoffman, great as well. All the actors were great. Mark Hamill was there. He was there, I feel like, to just be like, he did well. I mean, hey, Mark Hamill's a great actor. I feel like his role could have been done by kind of anyone. The voice, though, he provides that voice. You know, like the Mark Hamill sort of voice that gets really down here. That's great. I love that. It's an excuse for me to do a Mark Hamill impression. So yes, this film is not nice. It's pretty horrific. It's pretty messed up. But it makes you think. And one more thing I saw online is that they cover some things in this film, like toileting, because this is a long walk, right? You gotta keep walking. If you stop walking, you pass on. Oh, light on my eyes. Is that a cool effect? I don't know. So given that, you would need to use the toilet at some stage. That is just true. That is humans. And they show that. They show that, and it gets someone killed. It gets one of them killed in that situation. And I was seeing some people online being like really grossed out about that and being like, you can't show that. And then somebody in the comments pointed out something interesting that I feel like really fits in with the themes of what I'm saying about this film and what I think the film is saying, is that we're disgusted by that. We can't handle that. But there is blood and gore and kids getting killed in this film. But that's the problem. That's what affects people. What does that say? That in itself is a whole other interesting argument. This film is made to make you think, and the ending's kind of ambiguous as well, how it ends. So this film is purely to make you think, to make you analyze, to make you self-analyze, to make you analyze internally and externally. And at the end of the day, I'm giving this 4.5 guns out of 5. I don't know. I feel like this film is just, you can only, it's guns. It's guns. Every death is by guns. What does that say about the US? Time to stop getting political and move on. But yes, after watching this film, it is one where you will sit in the theaters afterwards and be like, uh-oh.